Today, we are going to be talking about singing. In fact, we're going to be talking about 10 different reasons why we should be singing. Why does the Bible tell us to sing? You've come up with 10 reasons. All right, babe, why don't you go ahead?
Okay, well, the first reason is it helps us to remember. So it helps us remember Scripture. It helps us to remember all the things that God has done for us when we sing.
Kind of like what we were just talking about with the Bible Bee and just memorizing songs from 30 years ago.
Right, yeah.
So, like, what about commercials?
Yeah, so marketing obviously realizes that this is a thing.
Yeah.
They had jingles.
They had jingles. At least they used to have jingles.
They did.
Not very many anymore.
Right.
I don't really watch commercials too much anymore, and there used to be a local commercial. Now, of course, I don't know it, so evidently it didn't work. But it was a roofing company, and they had their phone number, and you just knew the commercial because it was a jingle. It was on the radio.
I remember one from New Orleans on Rosenblum's.
Okay.
Rosenblum's, 1825, Tulane.
There you go. Is it still in business?
Okay, I don't think so.
We're not giving them business, so that's good. But yeah, they are catchy.
Yeah.
And you remember.
Yeah, pretty much. I know many commercials from when I was a kid because they were songs. So they just stick with you.
Yep.
Okay, so why don't we move on to the next one? Number 2.
So the next one is singing produces joy, and joy produces singing.
So
Kind of goes around.
It does. Psalm 9:2 says.
I will be glad and rejoice in thee. I will sing praise to thy name, O thou most high.
Okay, so let's camp out here real quick. So what did you mean by that?
The singing produces joy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that when you sing, I guess depending on what you sing, but
True.
it should be that when you
We're
sing.
assuming you're singing to the Lord here.
Right. It's really hard to have a bad attitude and be down when you're singing to God and singing of all the good things that He's done for you.
Right.
So it's going to make you happy.
So I usually will say that if you don't feel like singing, sing.
Well, that's right.
Because
Yeah.
you will.
Right.
Yeah.
Sing until you feel like it, because it will bring joy to you, and then you will begin to praise.
Absolutely. Like you said a couple weeks back, something about thankfulness, and you'd never known a person who was joyful that wasn't also thankful.
Right.
I think the
Yeah.
same could be said where I don't know of someone who's joyful who doesn't like to sing. And I think they're all tied together. You're thankful, you're happy, you're joyful, and you want to sing about it.
So there's the opposite, like we were talking about. If you're joyful, you will sing. But if you actually begin singing with grace in your heart to the Lord, you will become merry. So if you're down, if you're struggling with something, sing.
Well, that's a proverb, right? A merry heart doeth good like a medicine.
Yeah.
Which, once again, she's thinking of a song right now. Anyway, number 3,
It helps us to be Christ-minded,
by meditating.
right? Because, when you're singing things, the words that you're singing are going through your mind. So you're thinking about, again, everything that God is to you.
And doing this research, I did a lot more studying on the psychological part and more of the physiological part and what the science behind singing was, while you were doing some of the Bible stuff, which is probably more important. But I was curious about what the world was saying about just singing in general. And there's a lot of benefits to singing. And one of the things that they noticed was that when you sing, your mind, everything is involved. Your mind, your thinking, it's hard to think about other things when you're singing. You're thinking about this specific thing. And so it's kind of all inclusive. And so when you think about worship with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, you are doing that when you are singing. You are singing, you're thinking about Him with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. Unless you just know that song so much, and this happens in church, you open up the hymn to Amazing Grace. How many times have we sung Amazing Grace? You could probably do it in your sleep. And so some people just go through the motions of singing.
You hear the music director sometimes will say, well, let's sing it like we mean it this time.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Sing it like we mean it. And when you actually are involved in the actual singing of it, you are consumed by it. So it is interesting. Helps us be more Christ-minded. All right, number 4.
Number 4 is it can affirm solid doctrines.
Okay, well, there's one caveat, though, right?
You got to have the doctrines, or no?
The songs, if they are, the songs
If
are.
the songs are solid,
Right.
they can do that, right?
Yeah.
Number 5.
Number 5 is obey God's commands.
So it's not a matter of talent. So like I said, I'm not a very talented singer, but it doesn't mean I don't sing. What, you don't think so? You think?
Talent's very relative.
It
So I think
can
a lot
be.
of people don't sing because they think they can't sing. And I think most people can
And some
sing.
people know they can't sing.
Can sing fine. It's just not everybody's going to sing like on a microphone for everybody to hear.
Yes.
But I think a lot of times people don't sing well because they don't sing out. And if you don't sing out,
That's what you
then,
accuse me of.
then you don't sing well. Like even me, if I try to sing really quietly, like I'm not going to hit all the notes. But if I sing it out, then I can
Sing
get
it out like you mean it. And the sixth one here is
Yeah,
strengthen
the
you
six-
spiritually.
Strengthen you spiritually.
When you're singing, it does edify yourself.
Right.
When you're lifting yourself up when you're down. Now, singing does encourage you. And now, if you don't believe that, I don't know what else to say, but try it.
Yeah,
try singing,
try it.
and
See what
it
happens.
does. It lifts you up a little bit. All right.
So number 7, we have it changes your attitude.
All right. So, babe, why don't you go ahead with this one? You like this one, huh?
Well, I put this one because I know from experience that it's true. And when the kids were little, we would always sing while we did dishes, and we still do that some. But so we'd always sing. But there were days that I remember that for whatever reason I was down, either not feeling well or for whatever reason I didn't feel like singing. And one of the kids, little as they were, would come and be like, "Mommy, what song do you want to sing?" And of course, I didn't want to say I don't want to sing right now, so I would just pick a song and start singing, and I would find that as I would sing, my attitude changed.
Yep.
And, I didn't feel like it at all. And then all of a sudden, it's like I was having a great time singing.
Michael Thornton brought up a question. He had a question about it, and we got talking about how we praise the Lord, different ways that we do things to encourage one another. And I just told him, like, look, I put on some music and just listen at work, and it changes. And he tried it, and he was like, it was actually amazing. It actually worked. He just didn't really think about that it would change it that much. And that's just listening to music.
That's just listening, right? Listening, which is great too.
Right.
But I was talking to Jeannie on the way over here, and she was saying that just talking about the subject for tonight, it's kind of bouncing it off of her, see what she had, and we'll listen. We do listen to music in the home a lot, while especially with the girls when they're working in the kitchen or
Sure,
what have you.
sure.
But she also said, after a while, it can get to be a little bit much just listening
Sure,
to it
sure.
because it's been on for a while. So turning it off and actually singing, she said, actually it's better.
Yes.
I enjoy it more.
So singing to the Lord, it gets your focus off yourself,
Yeah.
your problems, and it goes to the one who can fix your problems.
Yeah.
And it's the creator of the universe.
So number 8, we have listed here for 10 reasons to sing is it encourages others.
Encourages others. Okay, so what are we doing when we sing together, right?
Yep. Well, when we sing together, we're preaching to ourselves. So like we said in the last one, it changes your attitude. So when I start singing, it changes my attitude, and I'm reminding myself about things about God, but then it also reminds others. And so I find that it has great effect on other people when I'm singing. So I think that's very important. And obviously praising God for what he's done. It also is doing that.
Absolutely. No, and this is good because preaching is preaching, right? And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not so good. It just depends. But singing, it can be good and bad too. But when you're singing, you're sharing with one another. And they've done studies where people who sing together, like chorales and choirs, there's something about singing together binds you together. Like there's some kind of unity there,
Yeah, I
especially if
see
you're
that.
singing like 4-part harmonies and things like that. You're working together and you're singing. It's very important. So this encourages. When I listen to songs, so if I'm listening to a new song, I'm listening to it. I don't know it. Just like one recently that you just showed me. It's encouraging to me because, I don't know it. I want to hear what other people are, where they're at in their lives. That's why I want to encourage young people to write some of their own stuff. Where are you spiritually? Where are you with your concept of God? And, let's express that in song. And even if it's a short verse or if it's a long song or whatever. But I'm curious where people are and how they express themselves in a certain way.
Another thing that we do is we'll oftentimes, after a song, talk about it and
Okay.
talk about like what
does
that
it
song
mean?
means to me,
Oh,
or
really?
what do you think this song is trying to say? Like I'll ask the kids sometimes, and so that can be very encouraging.
Well, the kids
too.
will have questions sometimes.
Yeah.
Some things we take for granted, like Rock of Ages, you were saying. The question was, actually, the kids didn't have a question. You had a question.
I had the question.
The question was where the line says,
Let the water and the blood from thy wounded side, which flowed, be of sin the double cure.
the double cure.
Yeah, save from
And you were
wrath
like,
make
the
me
double
pure.
cure? What's the double cure? And so we talked about that a little bit, and you looked it up and said, okay, there's a whole little thing on that. So
It's a big topic.
Right.
So did you get the question about and he walks with me and he talks with me? Who's
Andy?
Yeah.
Yes, no, we didn't get that one.
So number 9, we have helps to unite us together as one body.
Science now backs this up. Singing in a group triggers the release of serotonin and oxytocin and the bonding hormones, the good vibes in your brains that when you're singing together as a group.
Yeah.
They now know that singing what? So this was some of the things that we found out as we're studying, and you take this with a grain of salt because it's science, right? And I know, are we supposed to make science in the Bible? Whatever. But these are some things that they have found out in their studies, and I found them very interesting that the scriptures point these things out many, many, many years ago. But so what do we have here, Chuck?
You got the first one is that singing makes you happy.
Makes you happy.
So we spent money on research to find that out.
I know, right? Who doesn't know that?
That's one of those duh ones.
They don't dance to, because it makes you sad.
Yeah. You have reduces stress, anxiety, and depression.
That's kind of why it makes you happy.
Yeah.
If you're constantly depressed and stressed and anxious, try singing. I mean, honestly, it's easy for us to say because we sing all the time. We're a singing family, but try it.
Yeah, the next one you have here is that singing calms your heart rate.
Yeah, it calms your heart rate. I don't know. If I'm singing in front of people, my heart rate's going fast. So I do not like singing in front of people. But now this one's interesting.
It increases pain tolerance.
I have
When
no
I read that
idea.
in the note, I was like,
Yep, that's
I
what
don't know
they
that
say.
I want to try it.
Yeah, I don't want to try it.
I don't even know what that means, but interesting. Maybe that's why they sing in prison.
It means you can take more pain.
Well,
if
I know
you're singing.
that, but I don't know what that like.
So I wonder if any women have tried that in labor, like just start
Hey,
singing.
there you go.
Yeah.
See
You
if
could
that
start
helps out.
something, babe. It boosts your immune system.
I can see that.
That's
actually.
interesting. Okay.
I could really see that. If your body is working in harmony and singing produces
Yep.
those good chemicals
Yeah.
that move throughout your body, then I could actually definitely see that could boost your immune system.
And the last one that's not on here, but I read it. It makes you look younger, and I'm like, well, that's my wife. So yeah. Anyway,
Number 10 is glorify. It glorifies God, and He is worthy.
yes, this was the last one, and we don't have as much time, but this is the most important one. Obviously, all of the other ones are all put into this one, really.
Yeah,
right?
pretty much, because he is worthy. And so if we don't feel like singing, if we don't think we're good at singing, if, for whatever reason holds us back, it's like we should sing because he is worthy of our praise.
This is the 10 reasons that we came up with for singing. So I hope you enjoyed the podcast, the show. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have questions or maybe you have some other reasons, go ahead and email us at talk@fellowshipofbelievers.org, and we'll love to read those reasons on the air. But until then, we will see you next week.